21.
Good evening, I'm Alana Quillen. Thanks for joining us tonight. Devin Patton has the night off. Continuing coverage this evening, a bathroom battle with both sides speaking out. The U.S. Department of Education issued guidance to schools across the nation today regarding transgender students and which restroom they can use. The directive urges schools to allow students to use the bathroom, quote, consistent with their gender identity. It applies primarily to restrooms and locker rooms. While it's not a regulation, it's considered strong guidance on how the Department of Education interprets existing laws. Local advocates for the LGBT community say this is a step in the right direction.
Transgender students are among the most vulnerable of our students, and every student needs to feel safe at school. You can't learn at school if you don't feel safe.
But State Representative Mike Johnson of Bossier is asking for legal advice from the state's Attorney General. Johnson says the directive raises troubling legal and practical questions for our state. Local school districts are also reacting. You can read their statements at ktbs.com. In North Texas, the debate over transgender bathrooms began earlier this month when the Fort Worth School District issued similar guidelines. Texarkana, Texas ISD Superintendent Paul Norton says he's not surprised by the new mandate. He's got the letter from the Department of Education by email this morning. Norton says they're now waiting on guidance from the state of Texas as far as what they need to do next.
The letter is very straightforward of what its expectations are, but it also raises a lot of questions. And so we want to make sure that we get all those things questioned and asked before we move forward with making any changes at this point.
And now Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is responding to today's announcement. Governor Hutchinson is recommending that all Arkansas public schools disregard the directive from the Obama administration. Hutchinson criticized the directive, calling it, quote, social engineering, and said that schools should use common sense to maintain a healthy and safe environment. Meantime, the story has been trending on social media all day. Thousands of you have commented on our Facebook page. You can like us on Facebook and join in on that conversation. A developing story in Texas tonight in light of recent events from the elections to today's highly contested bathroom legislation announcement. The people of Texas are planning to vote on leaving the United States. Tom Abrams has more.
There are seemingly endless causes and issues looking for a voice in the halls of the state GOP convention. One of them is the Texas nationalist movement.
Texans believe that the best people to govern Texas are Texans.
It's an effort to have Texans debate seceding from the Union and then vote on it.
Texas has become a county rather than a sovereign state. And I don't think the only way to solve that problem is for Texas to be an independent country again.
Daniel Miller says he's been promoting the cause for 20 years and thinks it is feasible. He's the group's president.
It's a lot less about what Texas is running from and the promise of what we could be running to.
States' rights is a big issue here. Governor Abbott mentioned it, in fact, during his address to the convention Thursday morning.
Our country is in a crisis, and Texas must lead the way forward.
And it seems there is interest among the thousands attending the convention. Al Castillo is from San Antonio.
You like the idea of Texas being its own country?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I'm fed up with what they're doing. I'm completely fed up.
Whether it's immigration or economics or states' rights, the Texas nationalists believe Texas could function better under the sole control of Texans. And the group's president told us he is confident they actually have legislative support enough to get a bill supporting the vote both drafted and submitted for the next legislative session in 2017.
Now, the move to add language about seceding from the U.S. failed on the convention floor.
And it was a gorgeous way to end the week. We started the week on Monday. Remember, we had all those tornadoes in northeast Texas. Today, a far cry from that. It was gorgeous outside. It's going to be a nice night tonight. Cool temperatures, mostly clear skies. We'll get down to 61. That means there will be several places in the 50s tomorrow morning with calm winds. So a nice night tonight. Tomorrow, it will be another warm day, a little bit more humid. We will see a cold front in the area. That will shift our winds from the southwest to northeast and give us a slight chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Not a big deal. 80% chance you won't get wet. And looks like another nice day for Sunday. Next week, though, that's a whole different story, Alana. I'll have more on possible more heavy rain next week.
Oh, rain. We don't want to hear that.
I know.
All right. Thanks, Skip. Well, to the crime beat, a man is dead and his son is behind bars after an argument turned violent in Webster Parish. Police in Sibley were responding to a call about a loose donkey, but they ended up finding 57-year-old Billy Joyner dead at his home early this morning. 22-year-old John Joyner is charged with second-degree murder, accused of beating his father to death with a baseball bat Wednesday before checking into a Bossier City motel. According to the Webster Parish Sheriff, the two men lived together and were embroiled in an ongoing dispute. John Joyner's bond is set at $750,000. And Shreveport police are looking for this man, DeMarco Hill, in connection to a shooting that left a man injured last month. The shooting happened on the 100 block of East Prospect on April 14th. They've been able to identify a suspect and they're trying to find him. If you can help, call Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, Bossier City Police need your help finding a couple accused of passing counterfeit checks at several businesses. Take a look at these photos of Justin Will and Patricia Rush. They're both from Sunset, Louisiana, and this is the 2004 Jeep Liberty they may be driving, bought with one of those bogus checks. They face theft and monetary abuse charges. If you can help in this case, call Bossier Crime Stoppers at 318-424-4100. New tonight, the Bossier City Police Department is telling residents to be aware of a phone scam appearing to target the elderly. It's called the grandparent scam. It's an old scam, now with a new twist. KTBS 3's Aaron Buchanan reports. In other news tonight, the Shreveport Fire Department is using a $10,000 donation to protect firefighters from active shooters. The North Shreveport Business Association donated money for 12 bulletproof vests and helmets. The donation also covered the cost of collapsible stretchers and backpacks filled with medical supplies to treat gunshot victims. Shreveport Fire Chief Scott Wolverton says this year more than 400 firefighters have been trained in active shooter situations.
Firefighters wearing a vest is not normal. You always think about police officers wearing a vest, but not firefighters. Well, because of the changing times and the threat of these things that are occurring across our country, we want to be prepared in the city of Shreveport.
Now, Chief Wolverton says the fire department couldn't afford to buy the equipment out of its regular budget. Today, the Bossier and Shreveport Police Departments, along with the Caddo Sheriff's Office, ran with 70 special needs children to light the torch for the 2016 Special Olympics. Many prayers and encouraging words were spoken at the ceremony today to uplift the athletes competing in this year's Olympics.
I've been doing this for 21 years, and they've always had this big turnout for the torch run, and they're so enthusiastic about doing it. They're really good with it.
Now, the torch will make its way to Hammond in South Louisiana just in time for the start of the Special Olympics Summer Games, which runs May 20th through the 23rd. And right here in Shreveport, more than 1,000 people will gather tomorrow to paint their hearts out. It's the 25th year for this annual charity event. 50 homes have already been primed, and tomorrow 1,000 volunteers made up of 61 teams will paint those houses. For one volunteer, it's a way to give back after surviving a life-threatening challenge. Ernestine Thomas was in a head-on car crash that left her with several broken bones. She's in a wheelchair with medical bills piling up. It would have cost $5,000 to paint her home.
I'm just going to be very excited about it and thankful to God that I was able to be here and be in the program, and I'm thankful to them for selecting my home to be revamped.
Now, volunteers get started bright and early at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. For more on this story, head over to our website, ktbs.com. Well, still ahead in your KTBS 3 9 o'clock news hour, the Arklatex is working together to get people to fasten their seatbelts. Details on the way. Plus, a child care facility in Texas has been shut down. Find out why when we come back. Well, if you plan on traveling this summer, you could be in for a long wait. One traveler filmed his trip to the end of the line, and now it's gone viral. Jim Murray has the details. What a great warning. Skip Cordes and I were just talking about this. TSA is under pressure from some members of Congress to add additional staff before the summer rush, while others say that TSA should just get out of the business of screening altogether and let private security firms handle the process. For more Inside Edition, you can watch it on KTBS 3 weeknights at 4 p.m. Now, authorities say to call the police if you feel like you've been scammed. You should limit the information you put on the internet and never wire money to someone you don't know. Good evening, I'm Alana Quillen.
And I'm Devin Patton. Thank you for joining us tonight.
New tonight, should the Confederate monument in front of the Caddo Courthouse be considered a piece of history to be left alone?
Or is it a symbol of hatred and divisiveness from the war that tore America apart?
All the details about your upcoming 7-day forecast in a few moments. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Joe, for the update.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more fallout over a Bossier Police juror's DWI case. Rick Avery has stepped down as vice president of the police jury. At the jury's meeting today, Avery told his colleagues it was in the jury's best interest that he resign as vice president. He remains on the police jury. 2 Bossier City police officers are out of a job and another has been suspended over the way they handled Avery's case last month. Avery was suspected of drunk driving but was released with no charges filed and without performing a breath test.
And on the crime beat, we go back to those shootings we were talking about earlier. Police have made an arrest in one of the many recent shootings in Shreveport. Calvin Pennywell is charged with aggravated battery. He's accused of shooting Mario Bolden in the leg back on May 4th. Bolden is expected to recover.
Authorities think a fugitive wanted out of Missouri could be in our area. Barbara Wilson is from Jasper County, Missouri. Police say there she stole more than $400,000 from her former employer. She's been seen at casinos in Shreveport and Bossier, and police think she still may be in the area. If you see this woman, call Bossier Crime Stoppers at 424-4100.
Listen up, this could affect you or someone you know. A boil advisory has been issued for a Bossier neighborhood. Water service was discontinued in the east part of Dogwood subdivision north of Dogwood Trail. The advisory is effective immediately. The neighborhood's water was shut off to repair a main break. The boil advisory will remain in effect until further notice. For more information, visit our website, ktbs.com.
In other news, they've made the ultimate sacrifice and now their lives are being honored for their service. The annual Peace Officers Memorial was held in Bossier City today to remember the lives of fallen officers across Northwest Louisiana. Since 1872, 40 officers in our area have been killed in the line of duty. Their families urge the public to remember the dangers these officers face every single day.
In a police officer's day, they never know what's going to happen. There are no 2 days alike. And it can be from changing a flat tire to being shot at. And at any moment, they can give that ultimate sacrifice.
Now, this ceremony is held in conjunction with National Police Week. For information on support for survivors, just look for this story at ktbs.com. Now, 2 other Democrats are in the race, plus 1 independent and 5 Republicans, including Congressman John Fleming.
And education.
All right, still ahead in your KTBS 3 9 o'clock news hour, more information on the 2 Bama football players arrested in Monroe. In the Dallas area, a police officer's organ donation helps to restore a better way of life for a fellow police officer. Jeff Paul reports.
Capel police officer.
Now, Officer Turner, who received the kidney, is doing so well he could go home within days. Doctors tell Officer Dirks his single kidney will be operating back at 100% within a few months.
That's amazing
Oh,
that they
of
were a match.
course. And a lot of officers here, I'm sure, can relate to that strong bond with your fellow officer.